So the First Lady of France is doing something that may sound surprising. She and her attorneys are planning to try to prove that she is a woman. Stay with us here. Brigitte Macron, wife of the French president, Emmanuel Macron, now says she's going to present scientific and photo evidence in court to prove her sex. This is part of the couple's court case here in the U.S. as they're suing the woman on the right side of your screen, conservative commentator Candace Owens, for saying on her platforms, Macron was born male.
Brigitte Macron was actually born Jean-Michel Trogneux. That is the person that you are seeing in this photo here on the far left. I would stake my entire professional career on the fact that Brigitte Macron, the current First Lady of France, was born a man.
So Macron is trying to shut down these claims and win the case. Owens is trying to get the whole thing thrown out. Let me bring in Yasmin Vasugi in here. This is a defamation case here from the First Lady of France here. Help us understand any of the context or even any precedent on this.
First of all, they want to set the record straight. The attorney has said this is incredibly upsetting to both President Macron as well as his wife, Brigitte Macron. They say it's a distraction as well to the president and his family. This is an opportunity for them to prove to kind of shut down all of the rumors and the talk of what you heard from Candace Owens there, to essentially prove that she is in fact a woman. As you mentioned, they're going to use scientific and physical evidence, if in fact this goes to trial, to make sure everybody understands that that is in fact the truth. And I will say this is actually the second defamation case on this, because there was a defamation case that happened in France. This actually initiated with some French bloggers in which the Macrons actually won that case, but it was subsequently overturned in an appeal, not because of the truth, but because of freedom of expression. I will say Candace Owens, for her part, has filed a motion for dismissal. And the attorneys from the Macron family have said, and I quote, "Unlike Ms. Owens, the Macrons welcome the discovery process and look forward to holding her to account for the reckless falsehood she continues to knowingly promote." And let me just say, Hal, as you kind of played some of those videos of Candace Owens, for folks to understand, I mean, I know she has kind of become this household name, but that is because of the huge following that she in fact has online. 5 million subscribers on YouTube, 7 million followers on X. So that kind of proves the point of what Brigitte Macron, the First Lady of France, and President Macron are saying, in which they say, we want to set the record straight to make sure everybody understands the truth in this situation.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
James was missing.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, and his Son, only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Brother Rabbi Knapp coming out with a lesson, Lord's will, satisfying to the Lord's elect. As we just saw, Macron's wife is giving, she's going to give physical evidence to prove that she's a woman, or whatever it is, that it's a woman, or she, I don't know what the hell to say about this shit, man. This is confusion. Yeah, I mean, that's all the way in Europe. That's France, right? But wherever Esau is, man, it's the border of wickedness, man. Well, Candace Owens, man, you know, she's doing a lot. You know, she's bringing forth a lot of truth. And she's a very scholarly person. So, you know, she's pulling up receipts, you know, being exposed. I don't think Macron has any kids. Now I'm just going to show you how wicked this place is, man. Have kids. Emmanuel, Jean, Michael, Frederick, Macron. Does Macron have children? Macron to offer scientific core evidence to prove Brigitte. No, Emmanuel does not share children with Brigitte. However, the spouses adopted a dog named Nemo. That's what they do, man. They rather get a dog and go with that than have kids. That's what Esau likes to do, man. He'd rather just let the dog sleep in the bed. You know, but this is who runs the world, man. Now they can. A lot of lawsuits are going out. You know, you're not going to be able to say what you want to say anymore. You know, we're seeing that with Captain Kirk. You know, people are not going to. It's just Esau putting fear out there. You know, it's not like there's going to be something else. Ultimately, Isaiah the 29th chapter, I think it is. Let me see, Isaiah 29 and when he says you're an offender for a word, you know, 29, 21. So let's go into that as a matter of fact. You know, it might start with Kirk, whatever you want to call him. It's not like Esau doesn't know what you're saying, what you're talking about, because you say Captain Clark, or you can say whatever the hell you want. He knows what the hell you're saying, man. So wisdom might think, you know, all right, the algorithm. He already know you're Israel. You already gonna be bunched up in the category of being a damn devil, man. You're gonna be numbered with the transgressors, just like Yahweh Shai. So it is what it is, man. You know, brothers out here saying abide the ball and all of this, man. Come on, man. You better get your mind ready, man. It's too late. Should have count the cost. You know? Same thing talking about Donald Duck. You don't think Donald Duck understands he's Donald Duck? I mean, they got plenty of memes on him showing you that he's the duck, man. But I'm going to start here. It says, blessing after discipling. This is not even the precept I want. I wanted to get Wisdom of Solomon. 14 in 26. I'll start at 25. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 25. So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation, corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, privity. Let's look into that, as a matter of fact. Wisdom of Solomon 14, verse 25, meaning. I'm curious to see what this means. What chat thinks this means. And I want to look up that word privity, something like that. Perjury. Okay, it's spelled wrong. The verse comes in context of idolatry early in the chapter. It explains that idolatry is the beginning, cause, and end of all evil. Verse 25 lists the results of idolatry. When people turn from the true God, moral corruption takes over society. See, moral corruption. Let's look into this. Takes over society because of idolatry. Moral corruption is the decline of ethical standards where individuals or societies engage in dishonest or illegal behavior for personal gain, violating principles of righteousness and integrity. This deviation from morals can stem from greed, unchecked desires, or deliberate rejection of right and wrong, leading to actions like bribery, theft, or exploitation. While the term can apply to individuals, it also describes societal decay, often illustrated in literature and religious texts as a falling away from spiritual or moral principles. Yeah, when you see the wicked in very high positions of power, man, that's moral. That's a sign of corruption, man. Okay? This is what Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, is talking about. You know, when you read the book, it's supposed to be waking you up into what a righteous kingdom looks like. It's like you trying to become a judge, man. And you got to judge. He gives you plenty. Esau gives you so many examples of why he's going to be destroyed. And that we need to learn from these things so we can apply this wisdom. Okay? You know, there's so many things to talk about. This is what just popped up in my head, you know. It's good to go over these things and apply it to current events. Okay. So that there reigned in all men without exception. Where am I? So that they reigned in all men without exception, blood, manslaughter, theft. Idolatry leads to violence, murder, and greed. When the fear of God is abandoned, bloodshed becomes common. And look at the wars. You got major wars that's going on when you see the wicked in these high positions. Macron was, let me see what his, Trump, not too long ago, made him like leader of what was going on in Ukraine. He didn't make it any better. It got worse. As a matter of fact, Vladimir Putin extended the war into Poland. That's a big issue right now. So that they reign in all men without exception, blood, manslaughter, theft, idolatry leads to violence, murder, and greed. When the fear of God is abandoned, bloodshed becomes common. Precepts, Habakkuk 2 verse 12, woe to him that buildeth the town with blood, establish a city by iniquity. And that's how Esau established his kingdom. That's how all of his kingdoms were established, through iniquity, bloodshed. Romans 1 verse 28, when God gives men up to a reprobate mind, they become filled with all unrighteousness, murder, debate, deceit. Okay. Keyword manslaughter, meaning a murderer, killer, one who unlawfully takes life. And dissimulation, hypocrisy, pretending righteousness while practicing wickedness. And that's acting like you're married, acting like you're in a moral, biblical marriage of a man and a woman. Okay? You know, I can show scientific proof and all of this shit. That's not what makes you a woman, man. You know, in this world, there's so much confusion behind what a woman is. They blur the lines with everything. Okay? The Lord gave you the reproductive capability and the organs and the breasts to bring forth life. And then you're a woman, man. I mean, that's what you are according to the Bible. Okay? He tell you there's 2 and 2, one against another. Okay? Let me grab that. 2 and 2, one against another, something like that. I think it's Ecclesiasticus 33 verse 15. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2, one against another. Let me read up. Good is set against evil, life against death, so is godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. And it says basically pretty much that there's 2 and 2, man. It's hot, it's cold, you know, just like there's male and female. Maybe a better precept would be in Genesis 2, I think. Or is it 1? Might be 2. I can't really think. I'm a little. Male and female. Genesis 1. Genesis 1 verse 27. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. Okay, so that's what he made. It doesn't say male and whatever you want to be, or female and whatever you want to be. It's male and female. Okay. Now Esau can call himself whatever the hell he wants to call. This word is for the elect of Israel so they can repent before the last days, and because the Lord going to destroy this place, man. Let me finish this precept. I'm going to move to something else. Corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, corruption, moral decay, perversion, unfaithfulness, betrayal, treachery, breaking covenants, tumults, disorder, riots, chaos in society. Isaiah 24:5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, which is Esau, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Well, it starts with Jake. Okay, but it's defiled under the inhabitants of who's ruling the earth right now, which is Esau. 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. Yeah, he's not the author of confusion, but of peace. This is confusion, where you have to produce scientific evidence. Because nowadays, it's common to have medical procedures. They'll cut their rod off, man. They'll cut their rod off to show you a picture. All you see is a hole. Yeah, but how can you prove that? You know, I don't know what scientific evidence they can prove. You know, who knows? I don't know. It's just silly. It's folly, set in great dignity. It's wickedness. You know, and the scriptures talk about your privy member being cut off. Let me grab that. Deuteronomy 23:1. He that is wounded in the stones or have his privy member cut off shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. So Israel wasn't supposed to be practicing these things, man. See, when your eyes are focused on the Lord, you want to be practicing. This is wickedness. You can't be in the congregation of the Lord, so you want to have your privy member cut off, which is your private parts. Cutting your rod off. Okay? That's wicked is what I'm trying to say here. And like I said, when you have the wicked in such a high position, it just goes to show you that that's moral decay. Because who allowed that to happen? Okay, ultimately it's the Lord, but that's what happens when you're committing all types of abominations. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon 14. Let me see if I can grab the next verse. Perjury, swearing false oaths, lying under covenant, violating truth, a common result of idolatry, since truth is no longer anchored in God. That's right. So I can provide truth or proof in some form or fashion that's gonna verify that I'm a woman when you could have been born a man. I mean, that's what Candace Owens is saying. But using this as an example of how complicated things are, because we're in the land of confusion. This might hold up in a wicked society, shit like this, man. Exodus 20, verse 7, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Next verse. The point's in the next verse, but I want them to break it down. It says, disquieting of good men, the righteous become oppressed, harassed, and troubled in a corrupt society. That's a backward society. The wicked should be oppressed. The wicked should be arrested. The murderer should go to jail, not the victim, not the one who is righteous. Okay, forgetfulness of good turns. It says, ingratitude. People forget kindness showed to them. Ecclesiasticus 29, verse 16, but a wicked man disquieteth his friend, and he that is unthankful turneth a friend into an enemy. Disquieteth means to make someone feel uneasy. Make them feel like they not at rest. Not sound. Romans 1:21, they glorified not God, neither were thankful. Defiling of souls through sin and idolatry, people pollute their inner being. Leviticus 18:24, nations defile themselves with abominations. Meaning to stain, pollute, contaminate, spiritually defile. Yeah, you're defiling your soul, man, doing these abominations. you know. Changing of kind, this is the point, can point to unnatural sexual practices, homosexuality, gender confusion, perverting natural order, precepts, Romans 1 verse 26 through 27, and Leviticus 18, 22 through 23. Okay? All comes from forms of idolatry, and that's what, you know, you ask what they worship. They worship a false god, man. Let's get this in Romans chapter 1, verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. So their women changed the natural use to that which is against nature. Okay, and likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one toward another. Men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves the recompense of their error, which was me. You know, men with men. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. So he gave them over to a reprobate mind. He didn't correct them. And we understand, according to Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter, that sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the hearts of men are, almost had it, but I forgot it, are fully set in them to do evil. The hearts of the Son of Man is fully set in them to do evil. Basically saying, when you don't get judged, you make wickedness seem like it's okay to do. And he made it where he incentivizes you to rob, steal, kill, and, you know, you can do all these things and get away with it, and he's fine with it. It's just bugged out, man. Bones found in duffel bag at Tampa International Airport.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Shit's bugged out, man.
44.
Screeners see a lot of things at Tampa International, but this has got to be a new one. What appears to be human remains were uncovered in a passenger's suitcase. Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is at Tampa International for us tonight. Aaron, is this really what it looks like?
Allie, those are the human remains that Customs and Border Protection says they found in someone's luggage as they were getting screened coming in from somewhere else in the world. You can imagine what must have been going through their minds. May have been pretty similar to what we saw when we showed those photos to travelers.
These are the kinds of images that would make a lot of people react just like this.
What the hell? What the hell?
The photos came from a social media post from Customs and Border Protection's Director of Operations, Carlos Martel. He wrote on X, quote, "From cigars to bones, what started as a passenger declaring just 10 cigars at Tampa International Airport turned bizarre." Martel continued, CBP specialists uncovered what looked like human remains, including part of a skull wrapped in foil in a duffel bag.
That's not normal. And why is that in your luggage? And what did you do? And who did you do it to?
A lot of questions from travelers just hearing about the news Friday.
Where are you coming from? Like, and you decided to carry human remains with you. Like, why?
That's disgusting. I can't even lie. I can never imagine opening the bag and seeing that in there.
Authorities say they also...
This is what I'm saying. Y'all don't know Esau, man. I'm assuming this is an Edomite because you look at this nigga's history, man. All he does is eat human. He eats fucking food out of his grandmother's skull. This is just traits of an Edomite. They kill you, bury you in their front yard, and they're just fucking weird, man. These some nasty motherfuckers, man.
Also found some prohibited plants and undeclared cigars. According to the Post, the traveler claimed the items were for rituals, but due to serious health risks, they were seized and destroyed.
Used for rituals. That's not biblical. And nowhere in the Bible tells you to gather bones and put them together. What kind of ritual are they doing? Some satanic, Edomite, paganistic holiday to an ancient deity. Heathen.
Although since then, a Homeland Security spokesperson wouldn't confirm the status of the remains. Investigators also aren't saying where the passenger came from, where they were going, and if they were detained. Some travelers hope authorities can get some answers.
We have different cultures and things like that sort, but not with human remains. Like, it's still wrong.
They're not even going to talk about it anymore. This is the last time you're going to hear about it. Absolute last time. 1 Samuel 31. And I'll start at 6. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor bearer, and all his men that same day together. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side of Jordan, saw that the men of Israel and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head, and stripped off his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the people. And they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, and he fastened his body to the wall of Beth Shan. Okay, so who's Ashtaroth? Let's look that up. That's a god that y'all worship today. Ashtaroth or Astaroth. False goddesses in the Canaanite religion, usually related to fertility cult. Nowadays, she would represent Ishtar, or a Babylonian goddess. Let's look her up, as a matter of fact. Ashtaroth refers to both the name of ancient Near Eastern goddess associated with fertility, love, and war, into a city in ancient Bashan, a region in modern-day Syria. The goddess, also known as Astarte, was a prominent deity in Phoenician, Canaanite, and other cultures, often paired with the god Baal. The city of Ashtaroth was likely named after the goddess and served as the capital of King Og of Bashan before being given to the Israelites. Ashtaroth, Queen of Heaven. Ashtaroth is a biblical archdemon in demonology. He is considered to be the great Duke of Hell. Ashtaroth, Ishtar. Ashtaroth is the Hebrew translation for Ishtar, a major goddess in Babylonian and Assyrian religion. And Astarte, her Greek and Roman equivalent. She was a widely worshipped ancient Near Eastern goddess of love and war, known by various names and having worship centers spread throughout the region. Just like now, in these Catholic churches, y'all worship the Mother Mary. You're going back to Ishtar. Y'all worshiping the same gods. They're practicing the same customs. That's why your Pope wears the same shit that Dagon was wearing, like the fish hat bullshit, which has been all exposed, but a lot of people don't look. They think all this shit's fake or something. They think the Bible, they think the Lord's lying. Okay? And I want to see this other god. Beth Shan. Beth Shan, House of Ease, a place in Manasseh, west of Jordan. Let's look that up. Beth Shan was a strategic Canaanite and later Philistine city at the crossroads of the Jezreel and Jordan valleys, where the Philistines famously displayed the bodies of King Saul and his sons on its walls after their defeat at Mount Gilboa. You can tell Esau does that. He'll go kill a deer he'll go hang that shit up on the wall. He got the catacombs, Edomites. Although assigned to the tribe of Manasseh, the Israelites did not fully drive out the inhabitants, and it remained a prominent site throughout biblical history, known in the New Testament era as Scythopolis, a major city in the Decapolis League. Just some background information that these gods still exist. That's why they put the bones there. Jeremiah 8 verse 1. At that time, saith the Lord Yahweh, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, in the bones of his princes, in the bones of the priests, in the bones of the prophets, in the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, out of their graves. And that's what Esau's a grave digger. Wouldn't be surprised if he probably dug them shits up, man, if he ain't killed the body himself. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the host of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. You know, so that's Judah was doing some weird shit back then, man. Okay, look this up as a matter of fact. Jeremiah 8:2 describes future judgment on Judah, where the bones of their kings, princes, priests, and prophets who had worshipped the sun, moon, and stars would be exhumed and spread on the ground like dung, exposed to very celestial bodies they served, a final indignity for their idolatry and misplacement of devotion. The bones would not be gathered or buried, signifying the ultimate disgrace and a public demonstration that their false gods could offer no salvation or even basic respect in death. I wonder whose bones they were, man. I wonder what they were worshiping.
And the answers to many of these unanswered questions are going to have to come from the Department of Homeland Security. We just don't know when that might happen. At this point, Ali, all they're saying is that this is an ongoing investigation.
Wow. Okay. Sort of at a loss for words with this one. All right, Aaron, thank you.
Yeah, what about, what's her name, man? I forgot this singer's name, but she, famous singer, white girl, can't think of her right now, but they found, bones in her yard. Where's the follow up on that? Nothing, because it's you Jakes, it's you missing people. Okay. Surveillance video appears to show missing UH students' final moments. I don't know what UH is. That's Eve, man. Multiple victims in New Hampshire country club shooting. I gotta look this up.
This is a very active situation at this point. I'm just going to step off camera so that everyone can get a look at what we're seeing right in front of us. Just to reiterate the confirmed information from Nashua Police, we understand at this point that multiple people have been shot at the Sky Meadow Country Club. We know that the two suspects, according to police, fled the area. We know those suspects are and were armed. Nashua Police have confirmed one of the suspects has been detained and is in police custody. They do say that the other suspect is still at large. Again, we know that there have been multiple victims from this shooting that has happened at Sky Meadow Country Club. We're in Nashua right now, just on Split Brook Road. We know that the suspects, according to Nashua Police, are considered a threat to the public. We know that one suspect has been detained and another suspect is still on the loose. In terms of what we are hearing and seeing here on the scene, we see dozens of state police cruisers, local police, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is here as well. Police officers have asked us multiple times at this point to stay as far away as possible, considering how dangerous this situation is and considering how tense the situation is. We're learning that people inside as well. I did speak to a couple off to the side of the road here who says people inside the country club are on lockdown. And in terms of, again, what we're seeing, we see K-9 units, we see state police are here, we've seen police officers and state troopers running with their guns, not exactly sure where they're going, but we also understand that one of the two suspects, Nashville police say, has been detained. The other one is still on the loose. We're learning that there are multiple gunshot victims from this shooting that has happened at the country club here in Nashua. We are working to get more details. This is a very active and developing situation, but those are the confirmed details that we have from Nashville police at this point in terms of what we're seeing and hearing here on the ground. Jen and Marissa.
Shit popping right now, man. You gotta watch out. Ephesians the 5th chapter, gotta be circumspect in these times, man. Probably wanna not be in country clubs, and you gotta understand the political climate right now, man. You got the left and the right, you got people bugged out, man. More shootings gonna happen. Ephesians 5, verse 15, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. This is the time to kind of just do what you gotta do and get back. I went to work, man, that's it, man. Got my daily bread. Hey, that's all I'm asking for. Okay, Matthew the 6th chapter. Okay. Matthew 6 and 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Our Father that art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Hallowed, meaning your name's holy. Our Father which art in heaven. That's Yahweh. Okay? This is Yahweh Shai teaching you how to pray, man. Thy kingdom come. Okay, so having your mind aligned with your prayer and aligned with the will of the Lord. Okay? Because we want the kingdom of Israel to rule. The biblical Israelites, so we can have righteousness, and so we could prosper. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven, which is bring forth order. There's no order down here, man. The law is slack. Okay, let me grab that as a matter of fact. The law is slack. I think it's Habakkuk, Habakkuk 1 verse 4. Therefore, let's just start at the top. Habakkuk 1:1, the burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. O Lord Yahweh, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear, even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save? Why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance? For spoiling and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slack, and judgment doth never go forth, for the wicked doth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. And this is what we're seeing. Just grievances. You're just seeing iniquity upon iniquity, which is just sin. For spoiling and violence are before me. This is what Habakkuk was seeing, man. And we still seeing these things in this time. Judgment don't go forth. All these things are happening, and we're worried about Macron right now. And they still compassing the righteous. But what does he say? He says, behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days which ye will not believe, though it be told you. And a lot of y'all don't believe the report. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, which are the elites of Babylon, that bitter and hasty nation which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall precede them of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards. Showing you it's Esau, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteneth to eat. Okay, the eagle too. Another symbolic sign of Esau. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. I mean, they're going to lock you up, and they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be scorned unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Okay, so the Lord is raising up the Chaldeans to do just that. Take everything down, fuck everything up. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing this his power unto his God. I mean, he's going to get proud from all these victories the Lord's going to give him. Art thou not from everlasting, O Lord, my power, my Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord Yahweh. Thou hast ordained them for judgment. That's right. So he's telling them, he understands now. Oh, thou hast ordained them for judgment. And almighty power, thou hast established them for correction, meaning they're going to be corrected, with judgment. Thou art of pure eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. He ain't switch out the righteous for the wicked. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he, and makest men as the fishes of the sea, as the creeping things that have no rule over them. So, we got to go through these things. They take up all of them with the angle. They catch them in their net. They gather them in their drag. Therefore they rejoice and are glad. Therefore they sacrifice unto their net and burn incense unto their drag, because by them their portion is fat and their meat plenteous. So they're gathering the nations, and they sacrifice unto their net because they're giving these idols the glory. Shall they therefore empty their net and not spare continually to slay the nations? Meaning, should they just not do what they're doing if they have the power to do so? Of course they're going to keep doing it. Okay? So, Esau's going to do what he got to do. That's his lot. What's this?
Massachusetts homeowners, if you're thinking about remodeling your bathroom, this video could save you a lot of money. Here's why.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Myler with a WBZ News update. Our top stories: the White House is giving an ultimatum to the MBTA, either make buses and trains safer or lose federal funding. The U.S. Transportation Secretary wrote a letter to the general manager of the T requesting written safety reports within the next 2 weeks. The feds cite an incident last week where a woman was allegedly shoved off of an MBTA bus. Chicago is also at risk of losing funding if it does not do more to combat crime. A legendary singer cancels a performance in Boston tonight after the venue says there was a credible...
He's always been trying to stop funding for the MBTA. He actually threatened to send the National Guard here to Boston to pretty much, kind of protect that area. All right. What's this talking about?
Let's bring in Andrew Boreen, Senior Fellow at the National Security Institute. He's also a board member at Special Operations Association of America. Andrew, it would seem like Vladimir Putin and the Russians have their hands full just trying to eke out some kind of victory in Ukraine, where they're not doing very well. What are they doing sending jets over Poland and now Estonia?
Well, thanks for having me again, John. I really appreciate it. These are critical issues that the American public really needs to start understanding just how hot the conflict is becoming with our European allies. And I'll start by saying that these are not isolated incidents, and they are not accidents. In my assessment, these are very deliberate efforts by President Putin and the Russian military to see how far they can go into NATO proper territory, into those precious inches of NATO that we discuss when we talk about defending every inch of NATO. And it's an active probe to see how far and how much they can get away with, keeping things at an Article 4 consultation level, which is essence, hey, let's have an emergency meeting of leaders. We might investigate the incident versus an Article 5 issue, which is going to trigger collective defense. The only time in history that collective defense has been triggered and used was after the attacks of September 11, 2001 upon the United States. So in my assessment, this is a very active escalation of very much a Russian hybrid warfare effort and a machine that is seeking to cause disunity among the United States and its strongest European allies.
Well, the Russians say that this was, well, they say it was not an incursion. They say that they were flying in international airspace. Do you buy that, first of all?
No, I don't buy that.
All right, so if it was an intentional incursion, what's their goal?
Like I said, the goal is to see how much they can get away with. And, you know, I think that President Trump...
The goal is to dash your people into pieces. Now, he probably testing you now because the Lord got him doing all of this. But at the end of the day, Ezekiel, the 38th chapter is always, you know, he got work to do for the Lord too.
With Monday.com's intuitive work management platform, you have the power. Not IT, not admin.
This is in Venezuela. Check this out. So things are going on in the world, man. Everyone's getting prepared for battle, and same with Israel, man. You gotta be in the right type of mindset in these last days, man.
La Fuerza Armada Nacional Bolivariana está contenta, está emocionada de salir allá a un abrazo y unirse con el pueblo en un abrazo de solidaridad, de hermandad, de patriotismo, de unión. Porque así la patria nos los demanda en estos momentos. Venezuela, saben ustedes que ha estado permanentemente agredida, asediada.
They look dangerous, man.
Ha estado permanentemente agredida, asediada, acosada.
Harassed by imperialism from the north, and we have not given in.
Por el imperialismo del norte. Y nosotros no nos hemos dejado. Están las unidades comunales.
There are communal militia units that we are forming.
Milicias que estamos conformando.
Fucking Uber driver ready to go.
Fortaleciendo el nuevo alistamiento de la milicia bolivariana.
Giving women guns too.
Aquí estamos en la calle, en defensa de la paz de nuestro país, de nuestra patria, en función cívico-militar, demostrándole al mundo que aquí hay un pueblo que está dispuesto a mantener la paz de su país.
He said a lot, but he pretty much don't give a fuck, man. He said he's gonna fight for his country. I mean, that's an honorable thing to fight for your country. It's a good thing to fight for your country. First Maccabees. I don't know. First Maccabees 5 verse 33. Let's look into this. First Maccabees 5 and verse 30. In betimes in the morning they looked up, and behold, there was innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take the fortress, for they assaulted them. Then Judas therefore saw the battle was begun, and that the cry of the city went up to heaven with trumpets and a great sound. He said unto his hosts, fight this day for your brethren. So he went forth behind them in 3 companies, who sounded their trumpets and cried with prayer. Then the hosts of Timotheus, knowing that it was Maccabeus, fled from him, wherefore he smote them with a great slaughter, so that there were killed of them that day about 8,000 men. Okay. I can't even think of the precept, but he pretty much says it's pretty much good to die for your country. He was getting them in the mindset of fighting, man. I can't think of the precept right now. Let me see if I can give one more chance. Die for country. Maccabees. KJV. I think Judas said it. Yeah, 2 Maccabees 8. Ready to die for their laws and their country. 2 Maccabees 8, verse 2. Let's go there. 2 Maccabees 8. I'll start at the top. Then Judas Maccabeus and they that were with him went privily into the towns and called their kinsfolks together, and took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion, and assembled about 6,000 men. And they called upon the Lord that he would look upon the people that was trodden down of all, and also pity the temple profane of ungodly men. Where is this precept? I don't know why it's not showing me. This is verse 21. Let's jump down. 2 Maccabees 8. I'll start at 20. It says, and he told them of the battle that they had in Babylon with the Galatians, how they came out 8,000 in all to the business, with 4,000 Macedonians, and that the Macedonians being perplexed, the 8,000 destroyed 120,000 because of the help that they had from heaven, and so received a great booty, which is the spoil of a battle. Imagine 8,000 people taking down 8,000 and 120,000. 8,000 destroyed 120,000. Thus, when he had made them bold with these words and ready to die for the law and the country, he divided his army into 4 parts. So he was exhorting them. Okay, and it looks like men are being exhorted under their leadership right now. Okay. But I'll keep going. Got a little bit more. What the hell happened at Kirk's funeral, man?
$1,500 a month if you also take care of a friend or relative at home? No way, right?
And we want to continue to talk about...
He's supposedly supposed to get buried tomorrow, but people are trying to attack his thing, man. And the duck's going to be there, so I wouldn't be surprised if something happens.
Some of the big stories coming out of Glendale when it comes to security and really prepping out right outside of State Farm Stadium. And we learned today of the situation that played out of a armed individual that was arrested and taken away from the site. So we want to go out right now, right outside, alive outside of State Farm Stadium. That's where we find Fox 10 Phoenix's Nicole Cressine joining us here with a breakdown of this individual, not only armed, but also with knives as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I did actually want to share that we have a update. I mean, pretty much just within the last few minutes. I'm going to read this statement that was sent out by Turning Point USA about Joshua Runkles, the individual who you're describing who was arrested. So it does appear, this is the statement from spokesperson Josh Colvette from Turning Point USA. Quote, I want to add a note of clarity here. This individual was doing...
Another Edomite. Another Edomite. Edomite alert. Edomite alert. Watch out, man. Gotta be circumspect. You know, you gotta watch these things, man.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This
Mr. President, Mrs. Trump, it is with great pleasure that my wife and I welcome you to Windsor Castle on this, your second state visit to the United Kingdom. This unique and important occasion reflects the enduring bond between our two great nations, anchored by the deep friendship between our people. This relationship, which, with good reason, we and our predecessors have long called special, has made us safer and stronger through the generations. Our people have fought and died together for the values we hold dear. We have innovated, traded, and created together, fueling our economies and cultures through myriad forms of exchange. We have celebrated together, mourned together, and stood together in the best and worst of times. Mr. President, as we approach the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence next year, it is remarkable to think just how far we have come. I cannot help but wonder what our forebears from 1776 would make of this friendship today. The rebel commander and pioneering First President George Washington famously vowed never to set foot on British soil. And my 5 times great-grandfather, King George III, for his part, did not spare his words when he spoke of the revolutionary leaders. Today, however, we celebrate a relationship between our two countries that surely neither Washington nor King George III could possibly have imagined. The ocean may still divide us, but in so many other ways, we are now the closest of kin. Mr. President, you have spoken of your pride in your British roots. In fact, not only have you set foot on British soil twice in the last 2 months alone, but I understand that British soil makes for rather splendid golf courses. Now, for my part, I have always admired the ingenuity of the American people and the principles of freedom which your great democracy has represented since its inception. Throughout my life, from the very first visit to the United States in 1970, and over 20 visits since that time, I have cherished the close ties between the British and American peoples. In fact, had the media succeeded in the 1970s in their own attempt at deepening the special relationship, I myself might have been married off within the Nixon family. Mr. President, from York to New York, from Birmingham, England to Birmingham, Alabama, we are united by a common language and shared heritage. The many thousands of people from each of our countries who have made the other their home have enriched our societies immeasurably, a fact that gives me the greatest pride. Our cultural connections, too, continue to flourish, with our actors, musicians, writers, and television presenters prospering in the hearts of transatlantic audiences. Today, our alliance spans every field of endeavour and shows vast potential for growth. The United Kingdom was your partner in the first trade deal of your administration, Mr. President, bringing jobs and growth to both our countries. And no doubt we can go even further as we build this new era of our partnership. Our two nations have an exceptional...
You know, I'm trying to get to a point where he says something, the elders on that great millstone during their camp lesson today, they said that he said something about 250 years. Maybe it already passed. I'm too tired to really hyper focus. But you can see this is Esau in his glory, man. You see a long table, man. You know, it's a gorgeous setting. You know, this is Esau's doing his thing, man. But I think it's only a couple more minutes. I'm just finishing. I'm gonna end it.
National legacy of shared discovery. Together, we laid the foundations of nuclear science, mapped the human genome, and built the internet, upon which all contemporary commerce, communication, and defense is based. Together, our scientists and engineers are shaping the world of tomorrow, not least with new partnership agreements on technology and the prosperity that stands to bring. Our countries have the closest defense, security, and intelligence relationship ever known. In 2 world wars, we fought together to defeat the forces of tyranny. Today, as tyranny once again threatens Europe, we and our allies stand together in support of Ukraine to deter aggression and secure peace. And our AUKUS submarine partnership with Australia sets the benchmark for innovative and vital collaboration.
If you think it might rain later, then all you need is this bearskin heavy storm rain jacket. That's because this is the only hiking...
The successes of the British Redcoats and of George Washington's Continental Army today stand shoulder to shoulder, brothers and sisters in arms, protecting the freedoms we both cherish. Our countries are working together in support of crucial diplomatic efforts, not least of which, Mr. President, is your own personal commitment to finding solutions to some of the world's most intractable conflicts in order to secure peace. In striving for a better world, we also have a precious opportunity to safeguard and to restore the wonders and beauty of nature for the generations who follow us. We share the ambition and determination to preserve our majestic lands and waters, above all, to ensure that we have clean water, clean air, and clean food. Our legacy for the next 250 years and beyond is to ensure that our children, grandchildren, and
there it is.
50 years and beyond.
Let me back it up. Found it.
Above all, to ensure that we have clean water, clean air, and clean food. Our legacy for the next 250 years and beyond is to ensure that our children, grandchildren, and those who come after them can experience the awe and magnificence of the natural treasures found in the countryside, on the coasts, in the seas, and in the national parks established by your predecessors and mine. Mr. President, Mrs. Trump.
You know, he said and beyond. I'm not going to keep going. I didn't want to make this way too long. I'm going to grab this in Psalms 49 and 11. I'm going to end it here. Psalms 49 and 11, because he said over 250 years and beyond, you know, whatever, man. Your shit's almost done, man. I mean, his finger's about to bust as he's speaking, man. Isaiah 49 and 11, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. They think they're going to be passing down their, their kingdom's going to last, man, and it's not. It's not, man. It's all blasphemy at the end of the day, because it's going against what the Lord said. Isaiah 14, verse 20, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Right now they're renowned. Okay, let's look at this word renowned real quick, as a matter of fact. I know I said I was going to end it on the last one, but I want to finish my thought. I'm glad I got that, because I felt like I was not listening at all. To proclaim, to call, name, give a name to, summon, invite. Okay, read aloud. To call oneself. To be called, be named, be called out, be chosen. Yeah, this shit's going to be a wrap. You're going to be the unelect, the non-chosen, chosen to be destroyed. Isaiah 14, verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Yeah, we're going to destroy the children, man. For I will raise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. So there's no posterity in order to pass down your wealth, man. It's going to be a transfer of power, and it's going to Yasharala, which are the Israelites, which is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.